The year our family hit rock bottom, Dad sold me to the Riverdale Crown Prince for $1 billion strategic marriage. Everyone assumed I'd crawl and flatter the prince. They had no idea I'm the one calling the shots in this marriage. During a post-wedding finance interview, the host asked Adrian about his company's upcoming tech drop. Adrian spun his wedding band and grinned like spring itself. "How did you know I'm about to become a dad?" After evening rehearsal, I strolled the campus tree line, scrolling my phone. Summer night wind drifted in, melting the heat of extra practice. The second I opened Twitter, my vision blacked out. Every top trending topic was about me. Hashtag Jolin strategic marriage, hashtag Serena everyday, hashtag $1 billion bride price. Each tag screamed the same news. Dad had sold me off. When I finished reading, my marital future looked straight up ultraviolet. Reason: I'm a rabid facecon. When it comes to Adrian, my memory stalls at childhood. A gorgeous dad, an elegant mom, a cute roundy pup, and a short, chubby, ugly him. Even the family dog out-prettied him. I never liked the guy. Only out of humanitarian pity did I let him tag along a few times. After he shipped overseas, I never saw him again. Now he's back and demands marriage, repaying kindness with revenge, right? Right. Tonight I'm torching this engagement. I'd barely stepped inside when a beat-up man collapsed at my feet. "Oh, just Dad," wailing on the floor. I looked up. "Oh, Mom," Eleanor in her taekwondo uniform, retracting a right leg. Maids huddled in the kitchen, eyes sparkling with popcorn glee. Mom flicked her perky high ponytail. "Now that your daughter's home, start explaining." Even foreseeing this scene, my mouth still twitched. I hoisted Dad onto the sofa, fetched the first aid box, and dressed his wounds myself. Mom sat, sipped her floral tea, glanced sideways at Dad. How lethal was that glance? Enough to make Dad shrink into the cushions, trembling. Wound cleaned, filial duty done. Time for the reckoning. Through clenched teeth I asked, "So, old man, how sweet was that billion?" Under Mom's and my twin death glares, Dad covered his face and spilled everything. Short version: Richard made a boneheaded move and snapped a chunk of the company's cash flow. While he panicked, Adrian flew home. He tossed Dad a strategic marriage lifeline and pumped $1 billion into Vance Group as betrothal. Just like that, I was sold. After swallowing the facts, my last hope flatlined. I pasted on a gentle smile and patted Dad's shoulder, voice syrupy kind. It's fine, it's totally fine. Dad, the Sterlings didn't name a specific bride, right? You can marry him. You've already run a 25-year marriage. Pretty sure you and Adrian will be the town's dream couple. Go for it, I believe in you." I spun toward Mom. "You're cool with it, right?" The beautiful lady frowned, thought a beat, then nodded approval. "No objections." I stretched, beaming. "Perfect, settled. All right, everyone off to bed." Dad, half buried in the sofa, opened his mouth to protest when a low, disapproving voice drifted in. "May I voice an opinion?" I had my back to the door. Irritation flared as I wheeled to retort, but the words choked the moment I saw the speaker. "You have an opinion, and it matters squat." Outside stood a man detonating every aesthetic neuron. Cool black hair framing an aloof, otherworldly face, gold-rimmed glasses perched on a sharp nose, eyes deep as locked vaults, jawline sharper than my life plan. Loungewear wrapped a quietly elite frame, domestic CEO vibes. He bowed first in apology. "Your gate was open and the lights blazing, so I came in. Sorry for the late intrusion, Sterling. Then he zeroed in on me. "But there are details about the strategic marriage I'd like to discuss with Serena." Even clueless, I could guess, Adrian, my discount fiancé. Mom and Dad greeted him like royalty. A maid timed tea service perfectly. After small talk, Adrian fired the opening shot. "Could I speak alone with Serena for a bit?" Mom cheerfully agreed, 2 fingers clamping Dad's ear, dragging him upstairs. Dad grimaced in comic pain. Kitchen staff had vanished, leaving the living room just me and Adrian. Awkward haze descended. I reached for water. The chubby kid had shape-shifted into a lethal hottie, precisely my type, who wouldn't short-circuit. I smacked my lips. Odd, why did this water taste so tea-ish? Before I could solve it, Adrian broke the silence. "You're drinking from my cup." I stared at the glass I'd set down, brown liquid floating bright green leaves. Fine, silence didn't need breaking. My face blazed. I was the reddest berry on the mountain. "See, you had to gulp water to dodge awkward, now turbo awkward." Heavens picked the softest to squeeze. Inner turmoil raged, my voice wilted. Sorry, my bad. I reached to remove the cup, but he beat me, tilting it 45 and sipping right where my lipstick had been. My gaze locked on his bobbing Adam's apple. Thunder rolled straight into my heart. Sexy, the lone word left in my skull. Cup empty, Adrian wore a half-smile. He even reviewed. No worries, the tea at your place really is fragrant. Heat whooshed back into my cheeks. I scratched my nose. 1,000 flirty lines galloped through, but only one lame pony escaped. Glad you like it. In the end, I agreed to marry Adrian. Early marriage is annoying, but both families know each other, and Adrian is easy on the eyes. Plus, the man flirts like a pro. That night, before he left, we locked the civil ceremony date. I didn't understand and asked him, "Why me?" He raised his hand and tapped the left side of his chest. "Because just now I felt love at first sight for you. Will you give me a chance to court you, Serena?" Moonlight spilled over Adrian's head, softening the sharp lines of his face in the hazy silver. I couldn't help but meet his eyes. His dark pupils were a fatal, fathomless whirlpool that pulled me in and held me steady. Something strange unfurled inside me. Under the hush of night, I couldn't tell whose heart was drumming so loudly it threatened to beat itself to death. Surprise kept me silent. Adrian's Adam's apple slid up and down, and I swallowed against the impulse. A handsome man really is dangerous. Let's head back. Staying up late isn't good for you. At his words, I turned around, practically fleeing in defeat. Good night. Outside the dressing room door, a hand blocked my path. I focused and saw who it was, Felicity. Her pretty, delicate face glowed with confidence. Serena, dance a solo against me. I felt a headache coming on. Every year, the conservatory's audition gives the top performer the privilege of becoming Dean Luo's personal disciple. The woman is severe and mercurial, but her power is staggering. She's the current president of the National Dance Association. A chance to study under her is once in a lifetime. Dancers fight tooth and nail for it and still walk away empty-handed. I'd been lucky. With one performance of Moonlit River in spring, I took first place and became her student. Felicity came in second. She wouldn't accept it and is always challenging me to a showdown. And that's not all. When I train, she steals my clothes. When I eat, she scoops up the last of my favorite dish. When my expression slips, she snaps an ugly photo and posts it on the school forum. Over time, we turned into sworn enemies. The forum even gave us our own hashtag. Hashtag Frenemies Showdown Daily, hashtag Heaven knows how wronged I feel inside. Today we're filing for our marriage license. Adrian is waiting at the studio gate right now. I don't have time to trade barbs with Felicity. I lift a hand and pat her forehead like I'm pacifying a kitten. Sweetheart, I'm busy today. Go play by yourself, be good. I slip past her and sprint for the exit, leaving Felicity stamping her foot in fury. Serena. Who's your sweetheart? We register our information, pose for the photo, get the red stamp, and the brand new red booklet is born. Before I can study it for more than 2 seconds, a long white hand plucks it from my palm. I glare at the owner. Adrian's eyes are smiling. Something this valuable belongs in the safe deposit box. I'll keep it safe for Sterling. So flirtatious. My face is burning. I pretend to ponder. Whatever you say. Adrian drives me to our new home, a penthouse minutes from campus. I wander slowly through the rooms, taking in every detail of the decor. It's exactly my style. Standing at the floor-to-ceiling windows, I can look down on all of Riverdale. My stomach growls on cue. Embarrassed, I glance at Adrian. He looks equally lost, guilt clouding his face. I wasn't thinking. What would you like to eat? We can go out right now. A light bulb goes off. I fish out my student ID and beam at him. Let's go to Hadaleo. Adrian freezes, voice tinged with bewilderment. You're sure? Me? Positive, absolutely. Knowing he can't sway me, Adrian thinks it over, then finally starts the car. I'm exhausted, I mumble. Wake me when we get there, and fall asleep. An hour later, lulled by the sound of waves, Adrian gently shakes me awake. I step out and stare at the vast, moonlit ocean stretching in front of me, and fall into silent contemplation. At midnight, I'm in a private Hadaleo room swirling marbled beef rolls in spicy broth. Remembering the scene outside, I burst out laughing. Across the table, Adrian seems unbothered, sipping plum soda, though the tips of his ears are shockingly red. I can't blame him. He left his homeland at 10 and spent 15 years abroad. If he's never heard of heartache, it makes sense. I lift a perfectly cooked roll and place it in his bowl. Try it, it's delicious. He glances at me, then swallows the beef in one elegant bite without hesitation. So the old saying that beauty and appetite are linked wasn't lying. I finally understand the phrase. Isn't it silky and tender? Adrian contemplates, tasting slowly. You have excellent taste, Sterling. I duck my head, cheeks warm. If you like it, eat more. Somehow the meal flips. Soon he's cooking and I'm eating. When the bill arrives, Adrian pulls out his black Amex without a word. I stare, stunned, then snatch the card. Hold on, give me that. I tuck the card away and scan the QR code with my phone. A 31% student discount is basically free money. Only an idiot would pass that up. Big fortunes or not, money doesn't grow on trees. Outside, the summer night breeze is cool and comfortable. I stretch and sigh. Riverdale never slows. After midnight, the streets are still loud, traffic still streaming. Adrian walks on the traffic side, shielding me from the crowd. I smack my forehead, dig the black Amex out of my bag and hand it back. Your card. He gently pushes my hand away. What's mine is yours, and what's yours is still yours. In our household, the lady holds the purse strings, so my money is yours to manage. I clutch the black Amex, a cheer ricocheting through my chest. The Riverdale Crown Prince's entire fortune mine. Does that technically make me the next Crown Prince? Joy floods my brain. Before I realize it, I'm hugging Adrian around the waist. Sorry, got carried away. Just as I start to let go, he pulls me back. Our chests collide, heartbeats reverberating. I'm happy, he murmurs. You've subconsciously accepted me. Hood, hood, hood. Against my ear, his heart knocks like a hammer on a wire, strumming straight into me. We hold each other in the night wind, sharing warmth. After a moment, Adrian asks, Sterling, may I now fulfill my conjugal duties? The deer in my chest slams into a wall and dies on the spot. On a public street? Is he serious? We might as well file for divorce right now. Adrian steps back half a pace and bends until we're eye level. For the first time, his fathomless black eyes hold an emotion I can read, a plea. He asks again softly, May I kiss you? So earnest, so dangerously alluring. A demon whispering promises. In a daze, I nod and close my eyes. French kiss, here I come. With my silent permission, Adrian cradled my face as if it were treasure and brushed the lightest kiss on my forehead. So weightless it didn't even tickle. Okay, fine. My heart was the only one pounding. The deer in my chest slammed headfirst into the wall again. This time, though, it died of excitement. I was the only one thinking dirty thoughts. I was the only one blushing. A seed named like had taken root inside me. If the one who planted it watered it with care, one day it would sprout, bloom, and bear fruit. Married life with Adrian wasn't what I'd imagined. After returning to Riverdale, he'd taken over the company. I'd assumed he'd be too busy to leave the office. Instead, he came home at the same hour every night, and every night he brought me a different little surprise. Jewelry, bags, clothes streamed into my dressing room, never the same 2 days in a row. 2 weeks after the wedding, we went to the Sterling estate for dinner. On the way, I placed a slice of carrot on his plate. Adrian glanced at it and ate every bite. Tastes good. After the meal, Sterling pulled me into a side room and rattled off Adrian's food preferences. At the end, she couldn't help sighing. Sweetheart, the boy really loves you. He even ate the carrot he hates most. That so-called misophobia of his? Gone with the wind. As long as you two are happy, Mom can stop worrying. Suddenly, I remembered the teacup everyone gossiped about that night, the marbled beef rolls he'd swallowed in one gulp at Heidaleo, and how afterward he'd finished every bite I left on my plate at home. Sweetness bubbled up in me, tiny, silent ripples in an ancient well. Before the peach cup, Adrian's birthday arrived. As the newly returned crown prince, he would naturally celebrate on a grand scale. Every power player in Riverdale would show up, hoping to carve a slice out of the Sterling empire. I didn't care about any of that. At the moment, I was dragging Chloe through boutiques, hunting for a gift. A man born with a silver spoon already owns everything. We trawled the mall for hours and found nothing. I slumped in a cafe, stabbing the bottom of my cup. Chloe leaned in, eyes glinting. Serena, have you and Adrian? You know? Still brooding over gifts, I tilted my head, lost. Impatient, she wiggled her fingers. Marital duties, babe. You get me. Light dawned, I shook my head. Nope. It was odd. Adrian said he loved me, yet in 6 months of marriage he'd never hinted at that side of things. Afraid he might have some hidden issue, I hadn't dared ask. Chloe gave a wicked chuckle and whispered, "In that case, Senior Serena, I like you. Will you be my girlfriend?" A sorrow-eyed boy appeared, clutching a giant bouquet of red roses. Chloe and I traded looks. Her eyes danced with mischief. I shot her a mournful glare. Getting confessed to in a Sterling mall, Adrian would hear about it within seconds. I rubbed my temple and turned to the boy. "I'm married." His already gloomy face cracked, sorrow flooded his eyes, and his voice shook. "You'd lie about something that big just to reject me." I was speechless. "I am married. How is that an excuse?" "Sorry, we have to go." I hauled Chloe out and forgot the incident the next minute. Night fell. I was rehearsing in the mirrored studio when a car engine rumbled below. A moment later the lock turned, and Adrian leaned in the doorway, eyes fixed on my dance. When the piece ended, he straightened, walked over, and tucked a loose strand of hair behind my ear. "I've got something for you. Want to see now?" "Sure." He led me downstairs. In the trunk of the Maybach, creamy cappuccino roses glowed, and among them sat a black velvet box. Adrian dropped to one knee, flipped the lid, and the diamond inside blazed even in the dusk. The Italian craftsman took 3 months to finish the ring. "The wedding isn't ready yet, but I want you to have it first. Serena, will you marry me?" Joy swelled until I nodded and offered my hand. "Of course." Relief washed over him. The corner of his mouth curved as he slid the ring onto my finger and pulled me into his arms. I lifted my hand to admire the solitaire, amazed by this marriage that had come out of nowhere. Beside us, the housekeeper wiped away tears. "The young master is finally smiling." My own smile froze. Was this a scene from a novel? Adrian, still glowing, announced, "Everyone gets double pay this month." After days of gentle pestering, I finally chose an afternoon to deliver lunch to his office. No lofty reason. He'd whined in bed that every other executive received adorable bento boxes from their wives while I ignored him. No dramatic run-in with a snooty receptionist. I rode the elevator straight to the penthouse suite. The moment the door opened, an elegant back caught my eye. Power suit stilettos, glossy waist-length waves. The chair spun. Her over-the-shoulder glance was pure femme fatale. By the time I blinked, she stood in front of me, bending slightly to tuck hair behind one ear, extending a manicured hand. "Hello, I'm Alexandra. And, status-wise, your rival in love." I hesitated, unsure whether to accept the handshake. I felt zero malice from her, only the thrill of a hunter spotting prey. While my brain whirred, Alexandra waited, smile unbroken. The instant I lifted my hand, Adrian stepped behind me, yanking me against his chest, voice edged with steel. "Stop talking nonsense in front of her." It was the first time I'd seen him drop his impeccable manners. Unfazed, Alexandra simply shifted her hand to my cheek, fingers skimming lightly, eyes glinting with wicked amusement. "I do as I please," she purred, gathering her files. "Contract's settled. I've got another meeting. See you kids later." As she passed me, she even tossed me a wink. "You'd better keep an eye on her, or I can't promise what I might do." I waved her goodbye. "She's not your rival in love, and I don't like her either." Beside me, Adrian shut the front door, tugged me to the sofa, and asked how I felt about Alexandra. "I know, and, how should I put it, I really like her. Loved her at first sight, kind of inexplicable, but the feeling's never wrong." "No, you're not allowed to like her." Adrian's brows snapped together, panic crackling in his voice, his face no longer the unshakable fortress it usually was, his second lapse of composure. I blinked. "Why not?" "No reason. Just not allowed." Adrian was almost spitting with frustration, turning his face away. I quickly pulled out the bento box, plated it on the coffee table, and dangled a chopstick of spare ribs beside him. If someone doesn't come over, the sweet and sour ribs will disappear. The instant he looked back, I popped the rib into my own mouth. He pounced like a starving wolf, our teeth clacked. Inside my mouth, melt off the bone pork, outside, springy fruit jelly. Even 3 days later, sitting in the car on the way to Sterling to deliver Adrian's lunch, my heart still pounded. "Sterling, your husband is starving. On the road. Hold on." I hung up with an eye roll, remembering how he'd said he was starving that day too, yet ignored the fancy dishes and gnawed on me instead. Mid-makeout he'd teased, "My wife is the most delicious dish of all." Jerk. Absolute hooligan. I stroked the bento box, admiring my handiwork. Today was the dogman's birthday. I'd condescended to cook for him. If he dared say it tasted bad, I'd punch his dog head into next week. In the middle of that fantasy, metal shrieked against metal. A brutal impact hurled me under the seat, lightning bolts of pain shooting through my right leg. The sudden crash scrambled my brain. Before I could think, tinnitus and concussion slammed in. The world spun, consciousness ebbing, yet I clutched the bento to my chest, couldn't let anything happen to it. "This is how you take care of her? You've tucked her straight into a hospital bed." "My family business, Quinn. Your reach is a mile too long." Groggy, I caught Adrian and Alexandra snarling at each other. I forced my eyes open, blinding white. I licked cracked lips, the sting of disinfectant bringing memory back. Noticing I was awake, they rushed over. "How do you feel? Want some water?" Me. Isn't the patient in TV dramas supposed to yell for the doctor first? Television really screwed me over. "Doctor, come quick, my friend's been rammed into stupidity." "Oh good, Chloe's a drama junkie too." 10 minutes later, half reclined against pillows, I finally scoped the room. Everyone else had gone, only Adrian remained. Stubble shadowed his jaw, his suit rumpled, those usually soulful eyes bloodshot and bleak. I curved my lips in a smile. Maybe the tight wire in his head snapped. Adrian crushed me against him so hard I nearly suffocated. I was about to protest when icy drops splashed my collarbone, words jammed in my throat, and I patted his back. "It's okay. I'm fine, see? Don't cry, baby." At that, the mighty prince who ruled boardrooms turned into a bleeding lamb, sobbing even harder. "Adrian, my foot hurts." Bad news crept in. I sensed I might never dance again. No mirror needed to know I'd gone chalk white. My arms around him trembled. His crying cut off. I wiped the tears from his lashes and stared, begging for an answer. He looked away, voice ragged, still hiccuping sobs. "It's a fracture. The peach cup, you won't make it this year." "A fracture?" I exhaled, heart finally descending. As long as it wasn't forever. "Just a fracture?" "I twisted my ankle all the time as a kid." "Don't be sad. You trained for the peach cup for so long." I pressed a finger to his lips, sealing the rest inside. "I'm still young. No graduation gift this year, but I can enter again later." "All right, I'm beat. Go buy me some Ishiang from Nanxiang Loft, okay?" "Okay." Once he left, the emotions I'd leashed burst free. I'd poured months into heart waste. Of course it hurt. They were already worried. I couldn't add to it. When the tears ran dry, I fell asleep. Later I learned Adrian hadn't gone far. He'd leaned against the door and cried with me. I don't know how long Felicity had been there. When I opened my eyes, her doe-sparkle gaze was wet. The usually bratty heiress looked fragile, a porcelain doll one tap from shattering. "You're finally awake." "Missed me?" I joked, but slammed into eyes brimming with guilt. The smile froze. "Something on your mind?" Struggle flashed across her face, then she bowed at the waist. "I'm sorry." Disappointment pricked me, yet I had to ask. I wanted to believe her. "If I hadn't pushed Hunter to confess to you that day, he wouldn't have turned vicious, and you wouldn't be hurt." "Hunter?" I had no image of him, but I remembered one random guy who'd declared himself. Her words sank me into thought. Only after a while did I find my voice. "You like him, yet you told him to chase me. What logic is that?" "If he's happy, I'm happy. My own feelings aren't that important." I struggled up, grabbed her hand. "Wrong. Your feelings matter, your mood, your heart. Hunter messed up, but you didn't. You're amazing, he doesn't deserve you." Felicity sniffed. "But now you can't dance in the peach cup." I said, "That's Hunter's fault, not yours. Anyway, I'm skipping it. I want a showdown with you. No one else is worth my time. And when you lose again, without me, you'll have to celebrate in secret. Train hard, I'll come cheer." Before leaving, Felicity filled me in on what happened after the car crash. Adrian canceled his birthday gala. Outside the operating room, he hugged the bento box and wouldn't let go, stuffing bite after bite of the lunch I'd packed into his mouth in front of the cameras. His reckless image raced through Riverdale overnight, instantly smashing every rumor that our strategic marriage was miserable. "Serena, my competition is next week. Will you come?" "Of course. Just focus on training, okay?" Only after half an hour of chatter did Felicity finally hang up, unwilling to let me go. I lolled on the chaise, rocking idly, while I ordered Adrian to start packing. 3 months after I could finally walk without crutches, Adrian and I flew off on our honeymoon ahead of schedule. The Sterling was temporarily dumped on Sterling Sr. The old man stormed around the office every day, then came home to pour his grievances out to Sterling. As for Hunter, the official line said he'd won himself a prison term for assault. Off the record, with the combined clout of the Sterling and Vance clans, his real ending would be uglier still. In those 3 months we crossed the Eurasian steppe, caught Milan Fashion Week at its avant-garde peak, listened to the lilting arias inside Gothenburg's Opera House, drifted through Venice's canals while we gazed at Byzantine and Gothic facades, and finally froze the moment of our love atop Ireland's cliffs of Moher. The ache of missing this year's Peach Cup healed mile by mile along the road. The tour roared on. The day before the finals, we touched down smoothly in Riverdale. The next morning I showed up with a custom banner that shouted, "Felicity is #1 under heaven, fly free, Felicity. Bonds riding with you forever." In the arena I spotted Alexandra stealing a kiss with an elegant debutante, and suddenly understood Adrian's earlier meltdown. Alexandra wasn't my rival, she was Adrian's. No surprise, Felicity took the Riverdale stop crown. Afterward she grumbled, yet folded my banner neatly into her suitcase. 1 second before we parted, she crushed me in a hug. "Serena, I did it. 3 years from now, it's your turn to slay." I patted the back of her head. "I will." 3 years later, on the same Peach Cup stage, my beloved waist finally premiered. Standing in the dark, I exhaled a long, sour breath. A spotlight exploded overhead. In its circle I appeared center stage in a pale pink chiffon watersleeve gown. The music rose and I curved my lips into a bright, fearless smile, arms unfurling, now lifting my wrist and lowering my brows, now sweeping clouds across the sky. Once I hit the groove, every move balanced silk with steel, steel with silk. At the crescendo I sprang, tapped my toes, and vaulted 2.5 meters into a mid-air background kick. I landed steady, spun in place to chain the next phrase, tiny silver bells stitched along my hem chiming crisp and hollow. Their glissando collided with the racing beat and stabbed straight into every heart. As the melody softened, I gentled my motion into the final bow. Dance finished, I sat in the auditorium, every nerve still firing. Adrian was beside me, toying with my fingers in his warm hands. On my ring finger, the band I'd designed for him, my diamond against his plain gold perfect foils. Since the car crash 3 years ago, Adrian had grown clingy, forever needing some part of him on me. "Baby, your hands are freezing." "Nervous?" I turned, my voice quavered. "The Peach Cup is packed with prodigies, terrifying." He released my hand, stroked my head, pride shining in his eyes. "Baby, believe in yourself. You're Serena. Serena, who can do anything." Only when the announcer called my name did the world settle. After the victory gala, I helped Adrian back to our suite. I'd taken the prize, but he was the one who'd celebrated, glass after glass until he was gloriously drunk. I fetched a hot towel from the bathroom. By the time I returned, he was upright on the bed, impatiently yanking off his tie, black shirt a stark contrast to cold white skin, pure, crackling sex appeal. Up close, the liquor had only sharpened. Red lips against white teeth, dark brows framing eyes softened to liquid. Defenseless, utterly pluckable. I bit back a grin and dabbed his cheeks. When I went to rinse the towel, he patted up behind me, caging me in arms that draped his heavy head on my collarbone. A brush of stubble tickled my neck. I twisted around, cupped his face and kissed him. "Feeling awful? Want a bath? I'll run it. Together." The blunt demand rumbled overhead, and before I quite processed we were both under the rainfall shower, warm water streaming over us while his once glazed eyes burned clear and adoring. "My heart, your waist, beloved waist." The pet name lit my ears on fire. I dropped my gaze to hide. "You're adorable, Sterling." "What? Feeling like bathroom play?" "May I?" "Absolutely." I brushed my thumb along his brow, smoothing it, then rose on tiptoe to kiss him. Broad, Hot palms glided over the silk at my waist. A flick of his wrist sealed us tight. No need to stand on tiptoe, I'll bend. The feather-light words swept through me like spring wind skimming a lake, torching the last of my reason, our breathing ragged, eyes glistening crimson with want. When the last tissue-thin barrier tore, our souls finally locked together inside the blaze of love. Side story: a Riverdale family declared bankruptcy, nothing new. But they tried to claw their way out by proposing another alliance with the Sterlings. Annoying and inevitable. In our world, feuds are theater. Underneath, we prop each other up to keep the throne steady. Still, my parents said yes, and actually sounded excited. I did some digging. Turns out the bride on offer was the little neighbor girl. She used to think no one would play with me. Truth was, I'd already pummeled every kid who dared mock me. Only she, wide-eyed, swallowed my lies whole. When I learned the engagement pointed at her, relief hit me first. If she'd married some random jerk, that soft heart would have been bullied into tears. The moment my flight landed, I went straight to her campus. I stayed in the shadows where she couldn't see me. She stomped past clutching her phone, cheeks puffed, top knot bouncing, pure sunshine on legs. In my flatline life, she was a sudden flare, and I felt the future crack open with possibility. I admit it, I fell fast and hard. Serena, here we are again, safe and sound. Thanks for listening to today's story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to reading your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. See you next time.